tell you, when it comes to making inroads in Kenyan high schools and causing impact, no one does it better than the Kubamba crew. These guys are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, on to my guest today. I'm really excited about this conversation. I was reading a bit about your bio, and you wear so many hats. And not hats like mine, lakini you get my drift.
Yeah.
So you're a media enthusiast.
Yes.
You're a publisher. You're a broadcaster. You're an artist also.
Yes.
Hey, Buddha. You do some rap. I could have given you a slot to do some entertainment. But my guest is an entrepreneur. He's a father. He's a husband, a fearless influencer. Help me to welcome Mykal Black.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Black.
Yes.
Hey. Black on the mic, yo.
Yeah.
Tell me, let's just start from there. The name, Mykal Black. What's that all about, man? That's not Kenyan. Michael Njogona, Michael, Otieno, that we understand.
Actually, it's very Kenyan.
Really?
Mykal is my official name.
Uh-huh.
And black is just, other than being my favorite color, it's a representation of the African continent.
Wait.
Yeah.
Dude, you're deep, man. Philosophical. I like it.
Thanks.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
we want to just talk a bit about your journey in the media and the arts specifically. And we were chatting at the back a little bit about your background. So
Yeah.
let's frame it from there.
Yeah.
Who was Mykal Black before Black Boy Entertainment? Very quick.
I think it's easier sometimes for me to say it's easier to count the things I have not done in this city because I've done everything that a young person would possibly want to do.
Should I be scared?
I think you should be. Yes.
Okay.
But not for today.
Not for today.
Yes. At least your blings can rescue you for today. Yeah. So I think like any other young person in the city, after high school, you're trying to figure out what's next with your life. Parents seems to have let you now go out there.
You're on your own.
And be an adult. And I think in the process of all that, tried very many things. My parents were not fortunate enough to take me to institutions of higher learning. So I came to Nairobi courtesy of my cousin who was willing to pay for my college. And just a year into my college, he got a green card and had to fly out.
Wow.
And then at that space, you're lost, you're wondering what happens
So
next.
he just abandoned, he's out of the picture, you're just there, in the city.
He left and he left us in his house. So he paid for a couple of months down the line. And then also, as a breadwinner, there's a lot of pressure, there is a lot of expectation, and time got there where now I couldn't live there anymore.
Wow.
I needed to look for my own space. I needed to figure out what was going to happen next to my life. And I think it's that space where now you're not in school, you're not working, you're trying to figure out how do I eat, how do I pay my rent, how do I survive? Because something was very clear in my head that I was not going back to the rural area, you know. And then it's in that space that I think I discovered who the typical young person in this city is, because you've tried everything. You try to remain positive, you try to look for employment, you work in the hotels, you work as a cleaner, you work in the kazi kwa vijana, you try and hawk. I've hawked CDs, I've hawked T-shirts, I've done quite a bit.
Wow.
And I think that is the space where now I was really figuring out how do I survive? How do I survive? How do I care about myself? During that season, you feel not loved enough, you feel not cared about. And I think it's in that space that, as many other young people, you'll find yourself in the wrong spaces, because as somebody who used to play soccer, in the soccer field, you meet all types of people. I met young guys who were very good and they were paying their rent so well by mugging people.
Comfortably.
Yes, they're mugging people
But
at the end of the day.
how they are, the source of their income.
Yes. And then you ask yourself, why should I be 5 months in arrears? And I know few people who can make quick cash.
That's right there is a very pertinent question, because you're faced with a real dilemma.
Yes.
The reality on the ground is very different.
Yes.
And you have this moral conflict. Should I not?
Yes.
Let's fast forward a bit. So here you are, award-winning filmmaker.
Yes.
Black Boy Entertainment. What happened? How do you move from that place where you're desperate, you're on the verge of just making some very bad choices, or you did.
Yeah.
And then here you are, an award-winning filmmaker.
Yeah, and it's, to be very sincere, it's been a journey. I wouldn't really say it's something that happened. It's a long path that had tears and had so much in it, because in that space where you're trying to figure out who you are, and that loss of direction actually led to my finding direction, because I think, not even going so much into the details, is that I lost my very best friends who were now gangsters, who had now learned how to use guns. But I was not courageous enough to say I wanted to pursue that as an avenue to sustain my stay in the city. So I found myself in Kibra. And in that space, there are a lot of people who are filmmakers, and everybody, the film world is present in the Kibra space.
Yeah.
And I met somebody who had production equipment. And I had to carry his tripod for 3 years to get to understand what it takes to be in the film business, because before that, I had really desired to be on TV. But I grew up in a space where no one had ever been on TV. I'd never seen anyone who I knew on TV. So it was a pipe dream.
So is it, you have passion, but the opportunity didn't exist for you at that space.
Even the thought.
Wow.
Where do you start?
Who do you know?
Who do you know?
Yeah.
You know, and then you're in a city where everybody is trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And then I think it's through that I found myself in film. And I desired to do drama. I wanted to be on TV as an actor. But then when I interacted with the production space, I realized that I was enjoying so much to be behind the camera than really in front of the camera.
Wow.
So during that space, I think is where I realized that I was meant to do this.
Wow.
It was not easy because it was a very long and tiresome journey. Still, within those 2 years, you need to eat. The money that you're getting from that place is not enough.
Yeah.
You're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to do things. And one lucky day, I met an opportunity where there is somebody who was looking for young people who have media, who have passion in media. They didn't care whether you'd gone to school to study journalism or not. They were just looking for passion.
Passion.
At that point, I had a lot of things.
You had buttloads of passion.
Yes, I had so much to show for the passion.
Wow.
And that is how I was expected. I was accepted into that training. And now that training also changed a lot because they gave us a hanging carrot and said, if you're good in this training, you get employed.
Wow. Good motivation.
So that was the only opportunity.
So you're focused.
You're focused.
Yeah.
I would be among the first people in that space and the last.
Wow.
Because this chance was not going to get away.
It's not going to come again. And
Yeah.
I love that. You said, you mentioned earlier that your passion met you prepared.
Yes.
This opportunity met you prepared.
The opportunity made me prepared.
Wow. So Black Boy Entertainment gets off its feet. You're now producing, you're doing content.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about something different here. Black Boy Media Lab, something that you have initiated.
Yeah.
Help the audience understand. What is it about?
Black Boy Media Lab is basically a creative space that focuses in nurturing young people in media, arts, entertainment, and tech, and trying to push that passion aspect in the young people to say, can something tangible be made out of your passion? Can you generate sustainable revenue out of this thing that looks cute and looks like lacks direction?
So this is something that is born out of your own journey.
It's born out of my own journey because I think during my struggle to find who I was, I had so much passion and I used to believe I can do this thing. I had never done it, but I used to believe if somebody gave me an opportunity to do it, I would do it. And I felt like one day, and I promised myself, and I used to tell God during that struggle that, God, if one day you bless me with a space of my own, I will allow other young people who want to dream to come and dream.
Wow.
So when I had an opportunity, when I built Black Boy Entertainment as a company making revenue and I'm able to sustain myself, I decided to start the Media Lab now as a CSR-ish kind of a thing to say.
Giving back to the
Let me
community.
just give back.
Yeah.
Let me allow young people who want to dream, who want to interact with that production space to come. And that is how that space was born. And it has grown. It started from just one program that was basically training people in film and TV. And today we are running 4 programs.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
One, the Story Lab that is training people in film and TV. We have the Pretty World that is training young aspiring models to think about leadership. amidst the creativity in the runway.
Yes.
And there's also the DUX that is now focusing on the tech. It's more of a legal, a space where people want to learn digital stuff. Not necessarily ICT training, but people are asking themselves, how can I make money on Instagram?
Anyway, and
Instagram?
that's the prevalence right now. Yeah.
And then finally, we have Voice of Islands that is majorly focusing on musicians, rappers, and poets to say, how do you generate income from the creative industry?
Wow.
Yeah.
So I love that spin. There's an entrepreneurship, mentorship kind of thing that I'm seeing that you're mixing between the two.
Yes.
Any success stories from the lab?
There are lots of success stories. I would
Share
say,
one,
to be very sincere, the lab today has more than 26 people who've gone through the lab.
Wow.
And currently, as we speak, Black Boy has 9 employees who are all trainees of Black Boy Media Lab.
Wow.
And the best way for us to trust what we are training is by having those people work for us.
Wow.
And that is always our biggest test. There are other people also, because we cannot also accommodate everyone.
Course, yeah.
You have to let people who found opportunities elsewhere to still go out there and do what they're able to do, but also just trying to maintain that network to say, time and again, we can still be calling you up. We are following up on what you're doing out there. We don't just train you and let you go. We also are keen to know, what are you doing out there?
What are you doing out there?
And are you really representing the brand well when you're out there?
I like that. And I want to pick up on that because when people think about mentorship, they're thinking about, training, you're working with someone following up. But there's an aspect to relationship that exists within mentorship.
Yes.
And from what I gather is that you're very deliberate about creating a relationship.
Yes.
So whereas you're opening the doors for everyone, you're also inviting people, specific people, to walk with them in that particular journey.
Yeah.
Tell us how your style of mentorship. What is your style?
The truth is, very many young people know what they want. They just
Contrary
don't know.
to popular belief.
Yes. They know what they want. They either lack an opportunity to try out or somebody to help them, direct them to a particular direction.
Point them in the right direction.
So most of the time, in the absence of love, it is very difficult for this young person to really figure out who they are. And that is where, for us, we realize that some people come into that space thinking they want to become photographers. But then 3 months down the line, they realize that, no, I want to be in hotel.
Wow.
But
Total
photography,
shift,
yes, because everybody around them is talking about Instagram and is posting good photos and you feel like I can do this.
Yes.
But really, is
What
it
is
inside
it?
you?
Yeah.
And I think for me, mentorship is about that. Not giving this person something, but discovering what exists inside this person.
Wow. That is powerful.
Yeah.
Now, just to wrap it up, because we need to wrap up the conversation also. We know there are many people in media and the arts, including Christians.
Yeah.
And it's not just enough to have a company. Yes, we're doing production. We're pushing content out there.
Yeah.
There's something that you're very deliberate about, which is mentorship and discipleship.
Yeah.
Tell us about this. And you mentioned to me earlier, about this code that you have, about your mentorees.
Yes.
When they exit, there's a certain code they live by.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. And what would you tell, aspiring artists, enthusiasts, people with passion, who are kind of confused? Where do I start?
It has multiple facets. The key thing is media is a pillar of this society. We are what we are putting in our media space. If we put rot, that is what we feed our community.
Yeah.
That is what we feed our society. So our content creators must be very deliberate in what content are we creating. And that is very clear.
Not just pushing anything
You're not just pushing anything because of likes.
Yeah.
We are not chasing the likes. You have to think about what are you putting out there deliberately.
Yeah.
And that is something we tell the people who've trained with us, that you have to do better than us. Not anything below.
The bar is set.
Yes.
Wow.
Do better, or at least do what we are doing.
Wow.
Because when you look at the social fabric that we have in our society today, and think about the media space today, people want to assume that young people want to entertain themselves with a lot of sexual content. It's a lie. There are a lot of young, positive thinking people in this country who are not as sexual as people want to make people to believe. But sometimes, because that content is what is readily available, it will be consumed. But we have to bring ourselves into a space, and I want to echo what Ezekiel Mutua, for instance, has been trying to do, that we talk about sober content.
Sober content. I love that.
The US exports content, it's their biggest export. We have a beautiful culture as Africans. What if we put that culture
Package that.
and package it into very beautiful content? How much more can we sell out there?
Wow.
The biggest challenge facing young people today in this country is unemployment. Why would we have the 70% of this country grappling with unemployment, yet they are the most creative aspect of this population? Can they be allowed to create content and sell it and make it a business, and we create a culture around it that will allow our young people to look at content making as a business and not as entertainment?
Fantastic. And on that note, we have to end the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mykal Black. That is amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow.
I thank God for
Fantastic,
this.
fantastic.
Yes.